Yo, what is up, my golden boys and girls? Chandler here, and I'm excited as you are because today we are doing a review on Xiphoid Xcalibur. It's been the first time we've had an Excalibur since Cho-Z, so basically the same time as Kirby's not having an evolution. In fact, they actually released around the same wave. So Xiphoid Excalibur is a deluxe starter that comes with a new sword launcher, which is incredibly exciting. This being an absolutely cool launcher to have. And we are going to go over all of the aspects of this bay, and we will do quite a few test battles. So let's get started. So let's start off by talking about the sword launcher. So the sword launcher uses the exact same ripcord as the digital sword launcher. And the DB sword launcher basically features a sword launcher piece that replaces your string launcher and comes with a normal gear in clear, glittery white. I don't know if you can see the glitter in there. And just a normal, clear, black power gear. So when fully assembled, you can just pop your ripcord in. Hang on. Okay. That was not a good click. So, for left and right, basically you just take your ripcord out and you insert it in the other side. So this is left. This is right. Okay, that's right. And you can also flip it to have a control mode on both sides. Kind of like how it was in the original sword launcher, where you had a side with more gears going to the end. Instead with this one, you basically just have this stopper in here and you can still use it like that. So I'm going to probably do either a YouTube short of me comparing this thing to the actual standard launcher or an entire video. So stay tuned for that, because that will be on the horizon. Anyway, we are going to now look at the Beyblade, and first we are going to compare it to every single Excalibur, and then we'll go over it when we go in more in depth in the review. So we, of course, have the original Excalibur with Force Extreme. Then we have Xeno with Magnum Impact. Then we have Sieg with 1 iron, and then we had Buster with 1 dash dagger sword. So we've only had 4 Excaliburs before this, so a fifth. Why not a fifth one? So anyway, we just wanted to show that off. We'll go into more detail about those guys comparing to this later, because it's a very similar thing to that of Ultimate Valkyrie. So Xiphoid Excalibur. Pretty cool release, and comes with all new parts. Start off with the Excalibur core. The Excalibur core, basically, well, you just saw it, features a gimmick with a metal sword that pops out after the second click, sacrificing its stability for increased attack power. This core also has a diagonal orientation, which is very unusual for most Beyblades. It's very similar to that of the one on Ultimate Valkyrie. Next we have is the Xiphoid blade. It is a 2-layer blade, so it has a blue layer and a red layer, which is kind of nice to see. We don't see that very often. And this blade basically has a giant main contact point of a sword, which is very reminiscent to the sword on Buster, if you can see the 2 little kind of dimples on each side, little indentations, which is very, very nice to see. It is also probably the best right spin attack blade in the game at the current moment. Next up is the 1 armor, which is a reference to the 1 disc being unbalanced and focusing all of its weight into one area. So, pretty cool. However, it will not be aligned with the Excalibur core unless it is placed in high mode. Next up we have is the Xanthos blade, and I'm pretty sure, I know it's a Roman name, a Roman word. I think it's named after like a thief or something. If my mythology is correct, but you can see it takes a little bit of kind of reference to Magnum, where the letter is actually on plastic instead of the metal. and actually has a little tab in there similar to that of Lord Spriggan, where it's going to rub against the core, and it usually primarily functions better with Excalibur and the Belial 2 from Divine Belial. And as you can see, I can probably point to it on the Excalibur core. It should be right there. So these pieces will basically rub together. Kind of cool. And lastly, but yeah, definitely least, Sword Dash. Not too excited about this piece. Sword's got kind of, it's just kind of bad. I mean, hey, we get a Dash Driver variant of it, but it's still Sword. So, finally, let's assemble this bad boy. So, I'm going to just show you guys what the armor will look like in high mode, because I'm not going to change this thing to high mode. But there you go. You can see it aligns pretty well. It basically aligns perfectly with the rest of the parts when it's in high mode. But we're going to keep it in low mode because that's what I want to do. And last I checked, it's my YouTube channel. So, there we go. Just push that sword back in. So basically, when it aligns, it basically goes 1, 2, and then the sword falls out, and it perfectly aligns. Which all the Excaliburs have this kind of alignment gimmick, even the original. So, now that it's assembled, we're going to point out all the references to other Excaliburs on this Excalibur. I've already pointed out a few, but we're going to point them out again. So starting off with the layer, the X in the center is a reference to that of Xeno Excalibur. The sword in the center of the layer, or at least the hilt, is a reference to that of Sieg Excalibur. I want to say the pommel is, or like the pommel of the sword is a reference to Buster Excalibur. Mine is so worn out you can hardly tell. The front of the sword is a reference to Buster. The overall kind of like these areas here are also a reference to Buster. I don't know what that's a reference to. That might be a I don't know. The birds are a reference to the original Excalibur, just really like upped with color palette. And the overall shape is a reference to Sieg Excalibur again. The Xantha's disc is a hard reference to Magnum. The one armor is a reference to the one disc. The sword dash driver is, of course, a reference to the sword driver on Buster. I think I covered them all. I hope. My vocal cords are already getting tired from filming so much and talking, but it doesn't matter right now. So, let's do a test launch. 3, 2, 1, go shoot! I'm so good. Let's do that one more time. 3, 2, 1, go shoot. I gotta click that back. Just got one more time. 3, 2, 1, go shoot. Okay. That sword driver pretty noisy. But it looks to be relatively balanced. Alright. Let's pick out the bays we're gonna do test battles against. Savior, Prominence, Divine, and Chain. Why not? So 2 attack types, 2 defense types. And we'll do 1 battle each in this stadium, and we'll do 2 battles in the DB stadium. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Let's start off with the... There's noise in the background. Start off with, we're gonna also, I'm gonna try and stick with the sword launcher for the video, just for consistency. So, Savior, 3, 2, 1, go shoot. Excalibur, go shoot. Okay. And here's the battle. Wow. I get a good launch with the sword launcher. And Valkyrie's like, yeah, I'm a self-KO. Incredible. 3, 2, 1, go shoot. 3, 2, 1, go shoot. Here comes the shot driver. Valkyrie You know what? You don't get a second chance. You're out. You self-KO'd. Alright, next up is Prominence Phoenix. Just get Excalibur loaded on the sword launcher. 3, 2, 1, go shoot. Nope. No contact. This is not very fun. This is not a fun launcher to use, in my opinion. I don't really like it. I think it's a nice novelty, but that's it. Alright. Quick one to shoot. You wanna know what? There we go. Alright, I'll take that. Next up is Chain. I'm just gonna string launch Excalibur. That's just how upset this is making me. Yo, it recovered! Let's go! Okay, Kirby's got that. And lastly is Divine Belial. Alright, we're going to switch over to DB Stadium. Make sure we get all those releases over here. Okie dokie. Let's start off with Prominence Phoenix. Or let's start off with Savior Valkyrie again. And launch an Excalibur. Ooh! Excalibur went in for the kill. It only clicked once from that? Really? Jeez. Alright. Let's do one more against Savior. Because we'll do 2 battles in the stadium. Around and around it goes. Ooh, Valkyrie making... I think Valkyrie did KO first, but it basically flung it across the stadium at the end, so that's kind of nice. Alright. 1-1 with Valkyrie. Let's do Prominence. I'm going to stick with the string launcher because this is a lot more fun. Prominence, of course, is going to get launched first because, you know, it's Prominence. It's a nice little birdie. Let me do that again. Alright, 3, 2, 1, go. I'll actually throw in Guilty for now. How about that? Ooh, both the Bay and the armor get knocked out. I'm going to put Phoenix into its heavy mode. So Excalibur, hopefully, can't knock off that armor. 3, 2, 1, go. And it does it anyway. And the nice little love tap into the pocket. Alright. Next up, Chain Kirbyus. Almost a KO. Oh, and a burst on Kirbyus. And 2 clicks. The sword came out. Nice. Let's do one more against Kirbyus. Kirbyus hopefully won't burst this time. Because that's... This Bay, man. This Bay. Okay, Excalibur's going around. I think Kirbyus will win this unless Excalibur gets like a last-second KO. Oh, and it gets an outspin? That's what yard dash moment. Okay, what was the little bear? I said I was gonna do some against Guilty on this, so. Divine? Well, Hope. I'll take that. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. Shoot. Okay, it's not catching up to Divine, but will we see a KO or a burst? Nope, just a spit finish. Okay. Alright, last match, and I did promise it, so Guilty Longinus, where are you at? I'm expecting some big recoil. There's Guilty. There's oh my god. It knocked the clip out of the stadium! Longinus would have burst if Excalibur endured another hit. Oh my god. That was crazy. That was nuts. Longinus take that first point. That had to have been with the sword. Alright. Round 2. I'm actually scared to do this. Three, 2, 1, go shoot. Okay. That was calm. Alright. Let's do one more, because that was a little bit boring. 3, 2, 1, go. 3, 2, 1, go shoot. And a burst. Guilty is still the attack type king, baby. Dude, that marked up my Excalibur big time. Look at that. Man, oh man. Anything happen to Longinus? Longinus is just fine. Longinus doesn't care. Alright. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed this video. That one battle actually shook me, so, my doorbell's getting rang too. So I will see you all later in the next video. I hope you all have an awesome day. Stay safe, stay awesome, and Beyblade.